up to 60 grams of I'm gonna get up to 60 grams of I'm gonna get up to 60 grams of what? I'm gonna get In this video, I'll be reading the nutritional table or the nutrition information from a mayonnaise. I'm not gonna show you the name of the product, but it's mayonnaise. It's mayo. So in this video, I'm gonna read the food labels and then describe what each of the milligrams, grams, or energy, what they mean, so to give you a guidance of what it means. And I'm gonna give an example at the end of the video or midway through the video, it'll depend, I'll see, on the different types of food. So I'm gonna focus on two main meals that people usually consume a lot. So it's like stable meals. That way you also have another reference. So also disclaimer, any video that you see on the internet is not a consultation directed to you. It's a guide to know the type of it's a guide to know what you're supposed to do or things that you should look out for, or it's informative. If you want a consultation, go and consult. Go to your local clinic, hospital, or healthcare facility, whatever it may be, and get a consultation. Then that's a consultation. This is not a consultation. This is an informative video. Remember that. Okay, and also the things that I'm going to be saying in this video will be directed to me as to give an example. Okay, so with this, I'm going to start with my information, just the basics. And also remember that there's other factors that I'm not including in this video that are very important, that usually healthcare professionals ask when you consult, that are beneficial to your health or to your plan, whatever it may be. So I'm just going to go through it and then give just brief information about my daily needs or my requirements in a way. Okay, so I'm 23. I'm an adult. My weight is 71 kgs at the time of this recording, kilograms. My height is 1.72 meters. That means my BMI is borderline. I'm overweight. It's just a guide. Okay, so there's other factors that may include, but yes, my BMI is 24. There's other factors that I'm not getting into. And then let's say in this scenario, my daily intake, so to maintain my height, so to maintain my weight, not to gain weight or lose weight, I'm supposed to eat 7,000 kilojoules per day. That's a scenario. Okay, so I want to eat 7,000 kilojoules per day divided in 3 meals and then 3 snacks along the day, because I do get hungry. So that means 6 meals per day. I can also reduce it maybe to 5, but then I'm just giving an example. So with that 3 meals, 3 main meals, breakfast, lunch, and supper, and then with snacks in between whenever I'm going out or doing something throughout the day, and then just grab a quick snack to eat. So in order not to gain weight or lose weight, to maintain my body weight or my BMI in a way, also looking at my BMR, how much I'm burning at rest with my physical activity and all of that. So let's say I'm supposed to have 7,000 kilojoules per day. 7,000 kilojoules, just that means 7,000 kilojoules, that means energy, how much energy I'm supposed to be having in a day. 7,000 energy. Hope that makes sense. So with that, I'm going to divide it into 24% of the total energy to protein, 45% of the total energy to carbohydrates or sugar, and then 31% of the total energy to fats. But then those are how I'm dividing it. Is it dividing? It's not dividing. But then those are the ways that I'm putting all my percentages. Okay, it's an analogy. Remember that. I'm going to start with the carbohydrate first, or the sugars. So the carbohydrate as 45%, that amounts to 188 grams per day. I'm just going to round it up. 109. What? I'm just going to round it up to 190 grams per day. And then the protein, that will mean 100 grams per day. The fat is 58 grams per day. I'm going to run it up to 60 grams per day. So that means if I were to have that 6 meals per day, that 3 main meals with snacks in between, if I want to divide that grams, if I want to make sure that I have those amounts, specifically the sugar, I'm going to focus more on sugar. So that means I would like to have 42 grams of carbohydrates, for main meals, and then 21 grams of carbohydrates for snacks. Hope that still makes sense. Hope you're still with me. Are you with me? Are you with me? You gotta be with me. Look at my eyes. Are you with me? Okay, then with that, that's where the complex part starts. This is where you actually have to consult with your registered dietitian or healthcare professional to know the amounts you're supposed to have per day, specifically just for you. Now, I said 42 grams per day, but what does 42 grams mean? Obviously, there's a whole list of different types of food that people can have, and I'm not going to go through each and everything because I will not know each and everything. But with all the different types of foods, so this is where I'm going to give just a few examples, specifically, like I said in the beginning of the video, just by reading the nutritional information of the mayonnaise. I know mayonnaise is not a main meal or something that you eat alone, but I'm just giving an example. Okay, so I'm gonna read out the nutrition table and what it means, and direct it or give examples of what each and everything means to give you some form of idea. So the typical nutritional information. So the first one is energy. As always, all the products, they start with the energy, how much energy you're supposed to be getting, and then they write energy in brackets, kilojoules or kJ. That's the unit of measurement for energy. Okay, so it says per 100 gram and 10 per 15 grams single serving. Usually, if you see something that says per 15 gram is equivalent to a tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon is equivalent to 15 grams. So 100 gram, I can't give an example, I'm sorry. But anyway, when you see something that says per 15 gram, that's a tablespoon. If you see something that says per 250 milliliters, that's a cup. Yes, there's different types of cups or measurements of cup, but if you have a cup at home that shows different measurement levels, like the ones people usually use for baking, make sure that you check that cup, add water to it, and then add that water to your favorite cup or whatever glass that you like to drink from, and then see how much 250 milliliters is. That way you are informed to know that, okay, whenever I'm supposed to have this amount of sugar, this amount of fats or whatever macronutrient there is, I'll find this in this amount. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going back to the nutritional table of the mayonnaise. Mayo. So the energy, the first one is energy, says per 100 gram and then per 15 grams. So for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna be reading out on the 15 grams only. So for the 15 grams, the kilojoules or the energy, it says 198 per tablespoon. So a tablespoon, so make sure that you know the difference. There's a teaspoon and then there's a tablespoon. A tablespoon is usually the bigger one. And also I used to get a question like, how do I know if my tablespoon is bigger? Usually people who make tablespoons or spoons, they make almost the same amount. Yes, some may look round and then it gives the perception that it looks bigger, and then some are pointy or different, but usually it's the same amounts. It's just the way that they form them or shape them to make them look nice. Okay, so with 15 grams, it gives off 198 kilojoules of energy. That is equivalent to having a full cup, cooked or boiled, whichever cooking method. That means you don't add any creamy dairy products or anything, how people like it creamy, but that is equivalent to having a full cup. That's a full cup of cooked spinach. That's in 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise. So that spinach, a full cup of it, yes, it's slightly above, but I just wanted to give you a reference on what it looks like. So just a full tablespoon of mayonnaise, just 1 mayonnaise, is equivalent to almost having a full cup of spinach. So, and remember, with that tablespoon of mayonnaise, you're probably adding it to something else to add more energy, like potatoes maybe, or eggs, or different type of things that you add mayo to, or even your bread. Maybe you spread it on your bread. Different people do that. It's actually nice. So that is equivalent to a cup of spinach. So and then the next one is protein. So with the protein, it's less than 0.1. So there's not much protein in the mayonnaise, but it's kind of confusing because mayonnaise is made from eggs, as in the egg white, or is it, either way, it's made from eggs, so it does get confusing. I do not have an answer to that. If you have an answer, please tell me, because I do not know. I'm sorry. And then the next one is glycemic carbohydrate, which is 2 grams. That means how much. That is an indication of how it may raise your blood sugar levels. So 2 is generally not that much. A teaspoon of sugar usually is 15 grams. And then we have total fat from there. Mayonnaise does have a lot of fat, and then the total fat is 4.1. This is still the teaspoon. This is still the tablespoon. The total fat is 4.1, of which saturated fats, of which is then divided into saturated fats, trans fat, and unsaturated fats. So the saturated fats, usually saturated fats are fats that are fats that we get from animal products, like red meat, pork, and other products like cheese, butter, and baked goods. So trans fats, usually we find these in fast food or deep fried food or just fried food in general. Get them from pizzas, margarine, baked foods, processed foods. So these are the saturated fats and trans fats. Usually these ones are the fats that you make sure that you avoid. Now unsaturated fats, these are the ones that are healthy. They are essential. We do need them for our body. Our body does need unsaturated fats. We have monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats. So these are things like avocados, walnuts, vegetable oils, olives, or seeds, nuts. Okay. And then the next one, we have dietary fiber. So with dietary fiber, it says less than 0.1. Fiber is essential for our health. It has many health benefits. I'll make a video on that and different types of food that you can find fiber in. Okay, so with this, it just shows that the mayo doesn't have that much dietary fiber. Usually dietary fiber is supposed to have up to 25. So with fiber, usually you can have up to 25 grams to 30 grams per day, depending on your, this depends solely on you, but then up to 25 grams of dietary fiber per day. You'll find that most people don't even have that much fiber per day. So fiber is usually found in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. You can notice that all these foods are plant-based. And then the last one on the nutrition information is sodium, or total sodium, and then it says the total sodium is 66 milligrams. So usually with sodium, it is recommended to have about 2000 milligrams per day. That's like a teaspoon per day. Now with sodium, what people don't realize is that food that are packaged, pickled, processed, canned, tinned, all have sodium in them. This is to prevent the food to go bad early or expire early, so it's a preservative. And the thing that most people do not know about sodium is that usually they are consuming more than that teaspoon. Yes, you may think, oh, whenever I'm cooking, I'm adding just a little bit of salt, just a little bit salt in my food. That way I'm not eating that much salt per day, right? Yes and no. So it is because usually, in addition to the one that you added, there's also other different types of food that already have salt in them. There's different types of food that have salt in them, but they don't taste salty. Yes, there's tangy mayo. It does have sodium in it. With this one, it had 66 grams. So there's different types of food that already has salt in them, in addition to the one that you're already going to add to your food. And also remember that you're eating up to at least 3 meals per day. If you're adding salt in all the meals, some of the meals already have salt in them, so usually people are above that recommendation by way much. Yes, you are losing sodium throughout the day, whether it be physical, whether it be exercise, hydration or dehydration in a way, or other factors or other problems that you may be facing. But all I'm saying is, be mindful of how much sodium you're getting in your day or in your diet, especially if you have other heart problems, especially if you have problems like hypertension or high blood pressure. Damn, I'm thirsty.
Commercial break.
Don't make changes in your diet that you're not willing to keep in the long run. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Healthcare professionals are too serious. You guys are too serious. I don't know why. And you're scaring people, you're scaring the patients, you're scaring your clients. Be loose. Because I've noticed that some people cannot be open to us because of how we present ourselves to them. So sometimes you guys have to do your parts. Please don't be too serious. You're always too serious. Loosen up a little bit. How do you expect a patient to tell you the truth when you already have a judging face to them? Now I'm not gonna tell you how much I eat. So sometimes it's just them being uncomfortable with your seriousness. You gotta be loose. Okay, you gotta be loose. Okay, and then now I'm gonna give an example of different types of food and how much they provide. Remember, back to my scenario, I'm supposed to have 42 grams of carbohydrate. So remember, back to my scenario, I'm supposed to have 42 grams of sugar for my main meal. Okay, so I'm gonna give two examples of the different types of food that usually people consume a lot. Bread. So the first one, I'm gonna start with bread. I'm not gonna reference either white or brown bread, so it doesn't matter. They all provide the same amount of sugar. Difference is if one is refined, has fiber, has whole wheat, or bran, different things that make that sugar slowly be released. That makes the sugar to be slowly be released in our bloodstream. So still 15 grams, one slice of bread. The one that is already sliced, not the one that you slice, because you slice a big slice. Okay, so the first one, it will be the bread. So let's say I'm having 4 slices of bread with that mayonnaise, so tangy mayonnaise on. So I make like a sandwich anyway, so 2 2. So with that 2, I spread 1 teaspoon on one side and then 1 teaspoon on the other side. With that meal alone, just that alone. Maybe I should make a presentation of this, but I don't want to eat it. So with that meal alone, the total energy that I'm getting from that. So with that meal alone, I'm getting 1,700 kilojoules just from that one meal. I haven't even included any types of drinks, whatever drink it may be, unless it's water, it will increase that energy. But then with that 1,700 but with that 1,700 kilojoules I'm getting from that meal. Remember, I'm supposed to have 7,000 per day. That's 1.2. Remember, I'm supposed to be having 7,000 per day. That's 1.7 already out. So with the other meals, if I continue having something like this, yes, it's supposed to be okay, but no, it's not okay, because the carbohydrate intake is actually higher than what I'm supposed to have. Remember, I'm supposed to have 42 grams, and with this 4 slices of brown bread, and with this 4 slices of bread, what I'm gonna get is I'm gonna get 60 grams of sugar from that 4 slices, which is way above my 42 requirement that I'm supposed to be having for my main meals. Hope that makes sense. So it's very important. Is it important? And then another example, I'm gonna go with pap and chicken. Pap. We eat pap. We love pap. Everybody eats pap. Everybody. So with pap and chicken, let's say it's just a meal where it's just pap and cooked chicken. For example purposes, I'm gonna go with the breast, no skin. So let's say I'm having pap and chicken, nothing else, no vegetables, nothing else. It's just them two. It's just the two. So with that meal, I'll be getting 40 grams. I'll be getting 45 grams of. I'll be getting 45 grams of sugar from the meal. So remember, the chicken does not have any sugar. So the 45 gram will be coming from the pap alone. But how does 45 grams of pap look like? Usually, it's like the size of my fist. It's like the size of my fist plus a little bit, just a little bit. And then also, it's how much, and also it's the amount of sugar that is gonna spike up after you eat this product, because it usually does not have a lot of fiber, bran or wheat, to make sure that you have a slow release of sugar. So it's just gonna spike up your blood sugar levels. This is why usually people, when they want to go on a diet, they stop eating pap, because they know it usually promotes weight gain, and how much they consume usually is in excessive amount, and the type of preparation And the type of preparation that people usually make, it's stiff, it's soft, or crumbly, whatever it may be. Obviously it's going to affect how much you've added. It's not going to be accurate, so it's not an accurate number as compared to the 4 slices of bread, which is slightly close but still more inaccurate because of how you prepare it. So this is just an analogy. So with this size, for example, this is the size from the example that I just showed you. That's equivalent to 60 grams of sugar in that one main meal. And chances are I might even have more. And chances are I might even have more because I won't feel satiated after that meal. It's not high in fiber, it doesn't keep you full. It's not high in fiber, so it doesn't have a slow release of the sugar. It have a high glycemic index. That means it will spike up my sugar. That means it will spike up my blood sugar levels. That's not a good thing, especially if you're diabetic. Now you can see from these examples, I was just mainly focusing on the sugar because remember I'm supposed to have 42 grams of sugar for my main meals if I want to make sure that I keep that steady level. But now in both scenarios, I've had up to 60 grams, which is way more than what I'm supposed to have for my main meals. If for example this was my breakfast and lunch, I've already exceeded my requirements before the day could even end. So just giving an example, make sure that you consult and see the right amount. There's ways you can adapt your diet to feel more satiated and not have to exceed your requirements. And then for the chicken, it's going to provide with me 690 kilojoules. This is way less than just the pap itself. Yes, chicken is very important. We get your salt. Yes, the chicken doesn't have any sugar, so it won't spike up my blood sugar levels. It is a good source of protein, and also it's less in fat because I removed the skin. So be mindful of how much you're eating or how much you're consuming. Make sure that you consult a healthcare professional to know your intake or your recommendations per day, because we usually say I don't eat that much, but it's because we do not know, or we think we do not eat much, but then we actually eat more than the required amount, which may be why you are struggling to keep that weight off, or you're struggling to control other aspects like maybe your blood pressure, your triglycerides, your cholesterol, maybe your blood sugar. So there's different types of things that you make sure that you include. I'm going to try to make as many videos as possible. I'm going to try to make as many videos as possible to make sure that I give more examples of different types of grams and how it looks like. Okay. Please enjoy these bloopers that I made for you at the end of the video, because I do make a lot of mistakes. I made a blooper of a blooper. Take care of your body is the only place that you have to live. What else? Yes, there's different types of cups. Yes, there's different, but if at home maybe you have a cup that shows different measure, but if you have a cup at home that shows different, so for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna be per tea. And also I used to get usually people who make tablespoons, they make sure that it's 15 grams. Usually people who make tablespoons, they make sure that it's the same amount. Usually people who make tablespoons or spoons, they make okay, so with 15 grams it gives 198. And then the second one is, and then the other one is, and then going on we have glycemic carbohydrate, and then going on with glycemic carbohydrate, of which total sugar is, and then the next one is total sugars, and then the next one is glycemic carbohydrate, which is 2 grams. Sugar, that means how it raises your blood. That a teaspoon of sugar usually gives a diet. Now you may be thinking that whenever I'm cooking, I'm just adding just a little bit salt in my food. That way I'm not eating that much. Yes, there's different types of food that we eat, like the mayo. It's tangy mayo. Yes, it has like the mayo, it's tangy mayo. Yes, it has a lot of sodium or salt. Yes, there's different types of food that have salt in them, but they don't taste salty. Yes, there's